Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Wednesday, August 30th. So today is the full moon in Pisces day. Of course, we're going to be building towards that full moon in Pisces that will be taking place at 9:36 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you haven't listened to the full moon in Pisces astro forecast, I'm going to recommend you do that. If you haven't downloaded your moon guide as of yet, I'm going to recommend you do that. If you haven't downloaded your Virgo season e-guide that has a little chapter on this full moon as well, I'm going to recommend you do that. And of course, if you need an overview on what all of August's energy was meant to teach us, then please go ahead and take a listen to the August energy forecast. We're closing it out. This is the last astro event that we have here in August. But of course, we are quickly moving into September. Definitely pay attention. There will be a September energy forecast revealed over the next couple of days, along with, of course, the zodiac forecast. So we got a lot going on, to say the least. We do have the moon in Aquarius energy. We will be moving into this Pisces energy, considering the fact that the full moon in Pisces taking place later in the day here today is at 7 degrees. We're very early on in this Piscean energy. So we're definitely going to have that transition into hypersensitivity. We should already be in it. Our emotions should be peaking. The heaviness, the weight, the pain, the trauma, the struggle should definitely be felt and recognized. And again, just reminder that we have to kind of sit in the funk in order for us to acknowledge it, integrate it, and release it. And that's what the full moon in Pisces is all about. Again, take a listen to the extended astro forecast for the highs, the lows, the everything in between on what this full moon in Pisces means for us, especially in moving forward. So there are 11 different aspects here today. 9 of them are going to involve the moon. Okay, so the moon, still very much in Aquarian energy, is going to make a positive interaction with Mars. Mars is the god of war. He rules over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desires. And he is in Libran energy, not his most favorable spot to be in. He is definitely in the intellectual battlefield, trying to compromise and negotiate his way through reconciliations, and of course, aggress and advance himself on a path towards what it is that he actually desires. The major thing here is that we're just trying to make peace. We're trying to balance things out. We're trying to come to some sort of term of acceptance with our circumstances. And of course, that doesn't mean that we, don't want to make changes and we don't want for things to improve. But being content in the here and now, even while being discontent, is the name of the game. It is our challenge. It is our opportunity to really shift the energies, if you will. And again, with Mars being in this Libran energy, there is a lot of impulse, a lot of urge to take action, to make moves. There's a lot of conversations that need to be had, a lot of plans that need to be refined before we're going to see those actions take place. And again, reminder, take a listen to that astro forecast that I put out, because technically speaking, we are going to see the major change and transformation, the actions actually be able to be made once Mars actually moves into his rulership in Scorpio energy. And that's not going to be until mid-October. So the moon in Aquarian energy interacting with Mars at this particular point in time, definitely showing us the bigger, greater, grander plan. Now, the plan isn't necessarily written in stone, but it is revealing possibilities that we haven't thought of as of yet. And so this is going to kind of get us perked up a little bit inspired, a little bit motivated to keep digging, to keep planning, to keep strategizing, see what it is that we can come up with, what it is that we can reveal, what it is that we can actually piece together in a very short amount of time. And considering the fact that we have a full moon preparing to illuminate new information and details, pay attention, connect the dots. This is definitely a time where we're going to see things from a different perspective, from a different angle. And of course, that's going to unlock a lot of thoughts, a lot of ideas, a lot of emotions, and a lot of possibilities to move forward. The moon in Aquarius is going to sextile, beautiful energy, beautiful interaction with the North Node in Aries energy, which of course is trying to get us on the right path to reach our soul's mission, our soul's purpose, our soul's potential, really encouraging us to be independent, a little bit more free, especially away from other people, relationship dynamics that constantly put us in situations where we're dimming our own light, where we're putting our own wants, needs, and desires on the back burner. And of course, we need to get to know ourselves without the opinions, the influence of other people's energies on us. And so, the whole kind of concept over the next 18 months is to really get to know who it is that we now are. Standing alone, standing free, standing in our sovereignty. What does that mean for us? Especially when we disconnect and detach to some of the relationship dynamics that we've been too intertwined with. The moon sextiling with the North Node is piecing together for us where we're seeing an opportunity to make a baby step, where we are essentially contemplating making that first move, breaking away from the path that we've been on, busting out onto a path that will require us to be a little bit more aggressive and assertive to not only express ourselves, not only put ourselves out there, but to actually go after what it is that we want, what it is that we're passionate about, what it is that we desire. The moon then interacts with Neptune. Neptune, of course, is retrograde in its place of power in this Pisces energy, ruling over dreams and fantasies, delusions, confusion, insight, emotions, pain and trauma and healing, and of course, all of that shadow work. And of course, Neptune is the ruler over this full moon in Pisces, so he is standing in a little bit more power than he was even yesterday. The moon interacting with Neptune in this way does kind of open us up to receive a new insight, new information, new details, new intuitive impressions, if you will, that will help us kind of piece together what it is that we should be building towards or walking away from. The moon then goes ahead, interacts with Pluto, the great transformer himself, who is retrograde in Capricorn energy, helping us to collapse and to deconstruct the old structures that are holding us back, the old routines, the old systems, the old identities, the old reputation, the old pain, the old trauma. We have an opportunity with Pluto, because he is the great transformer, to sit in the darkness and alchemize that into light, to sit in the pain and the trauma and alchemize that into power. And the moon interacting with Pluto in this way is definitely offering us a major insight on the inner workings of our egoic programming, on where it is that we're hesitant to move away from the old in order for us to break away and actually enter into new foreign territory. So emotionally speaking, because we're emotionally detached in this moon in Aquarius energy, we're able to see things from a different perspective, a different set of eyes. But that isn't going to last very long, because we are going to transition into Pisces energy. We lock in that Pisces energy at 9:57 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we kind of sit in a void of non-action until early afternoon, when the moon in Pisces is going to interact with Mars. And this is in such a way that's going to illuminate for us two very different paths, directions, choices, decisions. And if you listen to the astro forecast for this full moon in Pisces, you would know that the choice that we have right now is to act out of the fear, out of the egoic programming, continue to do what it is that we've already done and gotten what it is that we've already got, or we could override that negative narrative, that fear-based programming. We could bust away, we could boss up, we could really kind of grow and improve ourselves. And we could align with our higher self and understand where the programming needs to be rewritten, where we have to abandon the old programming and conditioning in order for us to actually see what we can create when we do things differently. So the moon in Pisces interacting with Mars in this way is going to illuminate the different choices that we have, the different paths that we have. Of course, Mars in this Libran energy, sitting on the fence, being able to analyze the pros and cons and everything in between of both angles. This is definitely going to add a light layer of confusion, because of course we're in the full moon energy. The moon in Pisces brings on confusion anyways, and the name of the game is to sit in the confusion until clarity comes. There is essentially a heavy weight of confusion that is needed in order for us to have a true appreciation to those insights when they come beaming down from the higher realms of intelligence. The moon in Pisces energy, going to make a positive interaction with Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings in this Taurus energy. What we get here is a lot of emotion, a lot of insight, a lot of urge to change, to grow, to improve. Jupiter is shining a bright light on the areas in our physical realm in this Taurus energy where routines, relationships, money matters, and long-term goals are concerned, on what it is that we want to build and create that's going to look better and feel better than the current situation and circumstance that we're currently sitting in. Yes, we have a lot of thoughts about it. Yes, we have a lot of feels about it, but we are lacking clarity. That's okay. Just sit in the energy of knowing that this particular circumstance is not what you want, and understand the areas that you're being asked to kind of bust out of your comfort zone and grow through. The moon is then going to come up to conjunct, sit next to, team up with Saturn. If you downloaded your moon guide, you would know Saturn is a major key player here in this moon event. And, you know, the moon interacting with Saturn definitely brings us a reality check. Brings us a little bit of a bitch slap of reality, if you will. Saturn brings us down a couple of pegs. He brings on the weight. He brings on the heaviness of some of those emotions that have been very restricting, very confining, very much holding us back. Because, of course, we have to break through the programming. That's what Saturn retrograde in Pisces is all about. Really deconstructing the belief system that we have, freeing ourselves from the pain, from the trauma of our past experiences so that we can bust out of this particular restricted type of energy and we can see what lays on the other side. So this isn't going to feel good. It's a heaviness, it's a weight. This is exactly what we need to experience as we approach the peak energy of the full moon in order for us to appreciate the weight once it's been lifted. The moon is then going to semi-square, create a little bit of a tension and a conflict with Chiron, the wounded healer, who is retrograde in this Aries energy, helping us to examine the parts of self that are having a hard time kind of deconstructing the old version of self, the old reality, the old attractions, the old connections that the old self created in our physical realm, in order to see where it is that we're growing, we're healing, we're transforming into this new version of self, but there's still parts of us, especially old version of self, that keeps pulling us on back into that old version, into that old mind frame, into that old energy. Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, how it is that we express ourselves, retrograde, reflecting back in his place of power in Virgo energy, taking a good look at the moves that we've made in order to actually arrive at this particular point in our lives. And of course, we are looking back to see where it is that things are broken, things aren't working. Where it is in this Virgo energy that we can identify the problems, we can also come up with ways to fix it. And because we are sifting through the smaller details, not only of our mental narratives, not only of our mental focus, not only of our emotions and the details of our lives, but also because Mercury is interacting with Chiron, the wounded healer, in this way, is definitely going to illuminate another level of confusion. Misunderstandings are at an all-time high, very Mercury retrograde-ish. It is definitely percolating the doubts, the fears, the insecurities. We are hypersensitive, we are edgy, we are just on a jittery, restless type of energy. A lot of that is because of the full moon, and also a lot of that because of the electricity coming in to our physical bodies through Uranus being retrograde and Mercury being retrograde. Both of them. Uranus, ruler of the higher level of our intellect, and Mercury, ruler of the lower level of our intellect, just buzzing in order for us to kind of bust through some of the blockages and streamline new ideas, new insights. So that's definitely going to lay on an extra layer of hypersensitivity than we had even earlier in the day. 9:36 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the moon in Pisces directly opposing the sun in Virgo. This is what gives us our full moon in Pisces. Again, please download the moon guide. Please listen to the astro forecast where I go into depth and detail on what this full moon Pisces is all about, what you can do to dive into the shadow work in order to release some of these conditionings and programmings that we're looking to bust out of. This is a karmic energy, guys. So if you have been walking around in a funk, feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders, realize that this is an opportunity to alleviate that weight. But it is going to require you to do a deep dive in your psyche, in your emotions, in your memories, in order to get real and raw and vulnerable with whether or not you're comfortable continuing to use the excuses you've been using to justify your lack of progress, your lack of, let's say, responsibility and accountability to grow, to change, to transform, or you get to pick right now whether or not you want to continue to carry that karma, continuously messing up your options, your opportunities to grow, or are you going to put that emotional baggage down? Are you going to eliminate that programming? The choice is up to you. The last thing that we got going on here today is Jupiter, the planet of growth and expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings in this Taurus energy from May 2023 to May 2024, making a very positive interaction with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, who again is retrograde in this Pisces energy. This is actually the first of 3 different aspects that will be taking place from now up until May of 2024. And this is a great illumination on being grateful and making the most out of what it is that we have, even though we may not be content with it, even though we may not want it to be long term. There is the attitude of gratitude that speaks volumes on what it is that you're able to actually focus on, what it is that you're able to appreciate, even in a situation that is not favorable. To be able to be grateful and make the most of the situation and pluck out the silver linings is going to do a great thing for your vibration, for your frequency. It's okay to understand what you want to change, what you want to transform, what it is that you want to improve. That's okay. But also being grounded enough, grateful enough, humble enough in the here and now to take a good look around and actually appreciate the system, the circumstance, the foundation, the structure in which you have built. Because again, many of us living out prayers that we once had for ourselves. And just understand that it's okay to want to change your circumstance, but still be super, super grateful for what it is that you currently have and make the most out of what it is that you're currently experiencing.